So I'm ovulating today, and it sucks. Hey, what's up you guys? It's Bryony. Welcome back to my channel. So as you can tell from both the title and the beginning of this video, today I'm going to be talking about why ovulation can sometimes suck. I actually did a video very recently on ovulation pain, so I won't be going into too much detail about that because you can go and view that video all on its own if you are interested in that. But I want to talk about the other things that ovulation can affect you with. So the reason I actually wanted to do this video today, because it wasn't the video I planned to do for today, is A, because I am actually ovulating right now and I'd been through a whole up and down throughout the day, but B, because I posted a photo saying, you know, who else suffers with feeling crap when they're ovulating, and so many of you responded to it with all the different symptoms that you have, that I felt like, wow, this would be a really great topic to sort of talk about, especially while it's still fresh in my mind, and to kind of get out there and to start a conversation over, because I talk a lot about periods and about everything to do kind of with menstruation, and obviously ovulation is a key part of this, because unless you ovulate, you don't get your period. Unless you're on the pill or something, but you know, it's not something that we focus on a lot, and it's not something that a lot of people are aware can even be a problem. So today we're going to bust some of those myths. So let me just start by telling you about how my day has gone so far. So it's Friday, which is when I'm filming this video, and this morning I woke up and it was kind of like gloomy and grey outside, which can occasionally affect my my energy levels. Like, I wouldn't say I've got SAD syndrome, you know, seasonal affective disorder, but I definitely feel lower or like less energetic, I guess, when the weather is pretty miserable. But this morning I woke up and I just felt drained, like completely drained. And I was thinking, what have I done? You know, yesterday wasn't particularly busy. I did a little bit of babysitting, but that's really normal for me. That doesn't affect me this way. Generally, like, quite a calm day in terms of business. I got to bed at a reasonable time. I've had a good amount of sleep. So I was just completely baffled by why I felt so down. Like, so just, not down, I didn't feel down, but like just so low on energy. And I'd eaten well recently too. So I was thinking, you know, there's nothing I could put my finger on that explains this really. And went into a bit further into the day, and as it happened, one of the things I realised when I woke up this morning was that there was a little bit of an issue with the Precious Stars website where the mobile menu wasn't working, so I had to go and get that fixed. But while I was doing this, and usually like these sorts of things, you know, when you run a business, there's constantly, every day there's a new little thing that you've got to sort out or something you've got to deal with. It's very common. I do it all the time. Like, my general headspace is I pride myself on being quite a logical thinker and being very calm in a stressful situation. So usually I'd be like, okay, there's this problem. I know people that can help me with this. I can go and ask them. I've also had this issue once before, so I've got some idea of what I need to do. Like, this should be, you know, not too terrible. But today it felt like the worst thing in the world that this had happened. And I was just like, oh my god, I can't get the orders if this isn't working. Like, you know, so many people use their mobile phones and I can't get this sorted and I'm not technical, and it was just like, it was just like the worst thing in the world, like I said before. And I was thinking, Bryony, what is going on with you, girl? Because I don't normally like act like this. And then it clicked with me, and that was a terrible click. That's a bit better. And then it clicked with me that I was ovulating. It was right in the middle of my month, and I checked my period calendar as well, and it's bang on day 14. So I usually ovulate any time around this sort of day, maybe a bit earlier, a bit later, but like today I was like, this is the ovulation low day. It actually happens every month, but most of the time I forget about it, because unless I have something that happens that might put me under a bit more stress on that day, or unless I have a particularly busy day, it's not something I notice too much. But today, I really noticed it. It really came to my attention. And that's partly because I did have a busy day. I had to have a call with one of my virtual assistants in like the early afternoon, and then I had to go to a meeting in the evening, and the whole time, I had to go and drive there, and the whole time in the car, I was just so pissed off. I was like, oh, I'd rather be in bed. And the lady I was meeting was lovely. We had a great meeting. It was actually really useful. Fortunately, it wasn't too long as well, because I just was not in the right headspace. But I was just like, I'm going to this part of town where it's impossible to park. It's going to cost me money to do this, and you know, despite the fact that it's like tax deductible because it's business expense. Yeah, just that was how I was feeling. So I figured out that it was ovulation, feeling low. And actually, usually I do get ovulation pain like I talked about before, but today I haven't, knock on wood. So maybe I've avoided that this month. But it would be, I think it is my left hip that's ovulating, because I can feel something roughly going on down there. But normally I would get like this dull, intense ache in one of my hips, and it would kind of, if I was gassy as well, like if you could feel the gas traveling around your intestines a bit, it would pass behind, you know, your hip or something, and you'd get this much sort of more, the pain would sort of strengthen a bit at that point. But my ovulation cramps have never been, well, they're not even really cramps, I just describe them as an ache really. They've never been as bad as my period pain. My period pain has always been the worst thing that I had to deal with. But for a lot of people, it can be even worse in their periods. A lot of people who have like PMDD, which is a sort of a more extreme form of PMS, which can make you have really severe mood swings, can find that ovulation is hell for them. So that's always fun if you've got that. It can give you headaches, you can start spotting, like it could do all this disruptive stuff that so many people aren't aware that can happen. So I wanted to kind of talk about like why my day was feeling so meh because of the ovulation, and it kind of sucks because of that. But the good thing about it is it usually only lasts for one day, at least for me. I'm lucky in that respect. Usually only lasts for one day, and I know that it's going to happen if I remember in advance. When it does happen, I'm like, oh, okay, there's a reason why this is going on. All those lovely hormone levels just fluctuating like this. Also, if you have IBS, it can also set that off as well, which is again pretty similar to your period because all those hormones are just at play there. So that's why ovulation can suck for me, but I'm curious to know. So that's why ovulation can suck for me, but I'm really curious to know what you guys experience with ovulation. Do you not even notice it? Do you like go through your month not having a clue in the world until your period comes? Or do you get really intense pain? Do you have PMDD? I'd love to know. Leave them down in the comments below and let's start a conversation about ovulation. All that rhymes, conversation about ovulation. Thank you so much for watching, guys. I'll look forward to seeing your comments. See you next week. Bye.